Makeup artists get really particular about our tools. We have our favorite brushes, we have our favorite sponges, we have our favorite bags, set bags, and one thing that I'm super particular about are cotton buds. So today I'm going to talk about cotton buds and what makes a good cotton bud and what makes a bad cotton bud, and I'm going to give you a few examples of ones that I love. So I think that when people start out, they wouldn't ever give cotton buds much thought. And even if you are just do your own makeup at home, it really does help to have the right tools to do the job. So I know with Q-tips, and I don't keep Q-tips in my house unless I may rephrase that. I have Q-tips in my house. They are not for doing makeup. I clean my keyboard. I do all sorts of things with Q-tips, but I don't use them for any sort of cosmetic reasons. So you must be wondering why I am so anti-Q-tip for makeup. Well, I'll tell you. And also, not just Q-tip, but just basically American cotton buds. So they are not very tightly wound, and you might think, well, that's a weird thing to care about. But if you've ever had cotton fluff in your eye, you know exactly why I care about that. When I do someone's makeup for a red carpet event, especially when I'm working with celebrities, there isn't a lot of time. We have a very specific window, and I kind of talk about that a lot, that we only have 2 hours, and that includes setup and breakdown and getting dressed and general faffing about. And it may seem like a really long time to get someone ready, 2 hours, but it really boils down to about an hour and a half. And if 10 minutes of that is my client desperately trying to pick a piece of fluff out of her eyelashes, well, that's precious time that I'm losing. And also, it's really annoying, and I cannot stand getting cotton fluff in my own lashes, so I know how irritating that is. So the way that I combat that is by using cotton buds that are really tightly wound. Where do you find these cotton buds, these magical, mysterious cotton buds? Well, Asia is generally the place that makes better cotton buds. Every time I say cotton bud, drink. Just kidding. The ones that I first got introduced to that made me fall in love with a tightly wound, it just actually introduced me to the difference between what a cotton bud can be, are the ones from Shu Uemura. And Shu Uemura left the United States maybe 10 years ago. But when they did, I called every department store that carried Shu Uemura, and I bought all of their cotton buds because they come like this. They're all individually wrapped, and these are what I keep in my set bag. I've had some assistants show up on set with a Ziploc bag full of Q-tips that are fuzzy and furry and just a hot mess. When they rub up against each other, the cotton becomes loose, and that, in my opinion, is just like an irritation waiting to happen. So there are also those ones that come in boxes, Miss Q or something. They're flat on one end. Same thing happens with those. They rub up against each other. They become a little bit fuzzy, and then you're going to get cotton fluff and stuck in somebody's eyes. So in my set bag, this is what I carry. And I love them because they're sanitary. I can keep them in my set bag, and they're not going to get dirty or have any other sort of product interact with them. They are perforated in the middle, so you just break it apart. They're pointed on one side, which is great for cleaning up any messes, if you need a sharp line, if you really need to get up into the lash line. And then they're rounded on the other end. So they're brilliant. I know it's a bit wasteful. I do everything I can to be responsible with waste, but there are certain things I need for my job. I am not a coal miner, or I don't work for a large oil company. I think that my footprint is relatively small. I don't waste reams of paper in an office. I do try to be mindful. These I only use in my set bag, and they're not my go-to for when I'm actually doing makeup. They're just for touch-ups. So please know that I do have some guilt about it, but just have to leave it at that. I have to do my job. When I'm doing someone's makeup, the cotton buds that I use, again, are Japanese. These are larger ones. Sometimes I like to have a mix of larger ones and smaller ones. These I got in a Japanese deli in New York. I'm guessing you could maybe find some of these online. I'm not entirely sure. So what I like about these is they're about Q-tip size. They don't have a flimsy plastic. What would you call this? Bar? Rod? Stick? Stick. They don't have like a flimsy plastic stick. It's a nice, firm cardboard stick, like rolled paper. And the reason that makes a difference is so that I can really apply pressure and really get makeup out from underneath the eye. If it's that weird plastic and I get a little bit of floppiness and I don't get the resistance I want, I just find it irritating. So these are pretty normal sized, right? Sort of Q-tip sized. So I like to have a couple of these for a faster cleanup. What I love for precision work or detailed work are something like this. Again, I got these at a Japanese deli. Not sure if you can get these online. I'll show you the size difference. Again, super, super tightly wound. So this is the cotton bud that's more like a Q-tip. This is the one from this container. They're like a couple of dollars at a Japanese deli. So it's a pretty big difference in size. Again, this is for like a faster cleanup if there's like a big mess. If somebody, let's say so there's some eyeshadow fall off, I'll put a little bit of moisturizer on this and then I'll just sweep it up kind of in a rolling motion. Like I'll do it like this and twist it at the same time so I can actually get the whole cotton bud, like all of the clean surface area of the cotton bud to clean up under an eye versus just sort of going back and forth. That's a nice technique. So a little bit of a roll going across. And then with this kind, I can really get in underneath the lashes and get out all of the maybe waterproof mascara, or if I have a model or an actress who had makeup on the day before and there's still some in the lash line, but I don't want to, maybe they didn't wash their face well enough. And I generally don't like using a oily makeup remover, especially on the eyes, because I find that it will affect the mascara that I put on afterwards and it'll run and it's just a mess. So I like to clean up with a little bit of like a nice moisturizer, nothing too heavy, nothing too emollient, sort of like a light moisturizer that's maybe mostly water-based. So if you can't find something like this from a Japanese deli, what you can do is go to Muji, which is just always a go-to for a makeup artist for good bags, for putting foundations, and you know they've got good plastic bags. They've got great bottles for decanting foundation or body lotion into. I always go to a Muji, and I'm pretty sure you can get this stuff online. So that's super helpful. That's what these look like, and they're about the same size as these other ones. In fact, I think the Muji ones are even more slightly tapered. So this is Muji here, and this is the other one. And if you can see how this one is slightly more tapered. It's just a more quality product, finer quality product. Then, if you really want nice precision work, these are from my Kitco, and they are amazing. They're the smallest cotton buds I've ever seen in my whole life. And I'll compare the other ones. And they're super, super pointed. So if you're going to do a cat eye or a graphic line or, see that? A cat eye or a graphic line or something that you need like a really sharp edge for. Again, I like using a moisturizer instead of makeup remover, but you can really get a super sharp point on that. Really good edge. I love this. So I'm going to do a little compare and contrast with a couple of these. These are the ones that are more like a standard Q-tip. These are Muji. These are my Kitco. And I mean, color me crazy, but I actually think it's really important to have all of these different types of tools. It helps you do your job better. It just does. I mean, I think when I was growing up, there were like really no makeup brushes. And it makes it hard to do a good job. You can just do a better job if you have really good tools. If there's a Daiso near you, you can look for something like this. These are a lot like the Shu Uemura ones. You get 70. One end is pointed and one end is rounded. And they come just like in the Shu Uemura, individually wrapped, sanitary. Great. I think they're $1.50. So here's your solution for me buying up all of the cotton buds from Shu Uemura in North America. Canada? I don't know if Canada still has Shu Uemura. So again, here I'll do this. Daiso, 70 of them, somewhere around $1.50. Excellent investment. Another thing they have at Daiso, if you are partial to the very, very skinny ones, but you prefer to have that in your set bag instead of something a little bigger like this one, or the blue one I showed you, Daiso also makes teeny tiny baby head cotton buds that are individually wrapped. So you have options. And I saved the very best for last. We all love glitter. We all love a little sparkle, but sometimes, even if you use something like Lemonhead or Glossier Plays, glitter that's in like a sort of a gel base and holds on to the glitter, sometimes you still get fall off. Daiso makes these. One side is pink, one side is white, and one side is sticky. It has a little split at the top. Excuse me. And you peel that back. That part is sticky, and this part is just like a regular cotton bud. Nice rounded. This side is sticky. So you can get all those little bits of glitter, you can get any fall off, you can get an eyelash that falls. I don't know, use your imagination. You can use it for anything. But it's brilliant, and I just love that it really is so sticky. Do they ever do this on ASMR? Like, is there a sticky cotton bud ASMR series? Get back to me on that one, I want to know. So now you know all about cotton buds. I hope it was interesting. This is the stuff I live for. I could talk about cotton buds all day long. I might go into another YouTube video later about why I have 20 different black liquid eyeliners or 10 regular black eyeliners. They're all different. They all do different things. And this is the kind of stuff I nerd out on. So I hope you nerded out on it a little bit too. Like, subscribe, share, do all the things. And I'll come back with another video that I hope you find interesting. Thanks so much.